The first plant appeared about 3.5 billion years ago. They were single-celled algae. There are about 380,000 different plants on Earth, and they grow just about anywhere. In the fields, forests, deserts, and mountains. About 90% of a plant is water. Flowering plants bring color and scent to summer days. Hello to all at home, and thank you for watching iTTV. Remember children, in the previous lessons, we learned about the basic need of animals and humans. Well, today, we are going to be learning the basic needs of plants. Plants also have basic needs. The types of basic need of plants are food, water, air, and sunlight. Well, water is an essential element for plants. Plants living on land absorb water by using their long roots. These long roots attach the plants firmly to the ground so that they don't fall over on windy days. But these long roots also do another job. By spreading wide and far, they absorb water from the soil around. The water is then moved to the trunks and the stem of the plant. This water from the stem moves over to the green leaves of the plants. Water has got minerals and salts. Aquatic plants absorb water from their surrounding. Now, the plants like the cactus, which grow in the deserts, absorb the minimum rainfall water by using their long roots. These water can be stored in their fat stems for weeks or even years. Children, water also maintains the freshness of the plant. A plant would maintain its turgidity and freshness by absorbing water from the soil. Now, humans and animals also need water. But remember, plants, humans and animals need water for different reasons. The air around us contains many different gases. Among all these gases, we have to know about two important gases, which is firstly oxygen and secondly carbon dioxide. Now children, if you are wondering why, from the first lesson till now, we have been talking only about these two gases, because humans and animals use oxygen for the process of respiration, and after the process of respiration, they exhale and breathe out carbon dioxide. In the case of the plants, it is the opposite way. Plants use oxygen for respiration, but they use carbon dioxide for the process of photosynthesis. Plants need air to grow healthily and to stay alive. Now, we shall have a look at a picture which explains to us better what does these gases do for the plant. This is the carbon dioxide. It is used by the plant for the process of photosynthesis. Now, what is photosynthesis? Photo means light. Synthesis means to make. So, photosynthesis means to make light. Let's look at the gas oxygen. After the process of photosynthesis, oxygen is released by the plant to our surrounding air. Now, remember, this oxygen is thus used by humans and animals for the process of respiration. Recall, earlier we were learning about the basic need of plants, which is water. Here, the water is absorbed by the roots which run far and wide in the soil. See here, water being absorbed by the soil. It goes up to the stem and reaches the leaves. thus being used in the process of photosynthesis. Now, we should talk about sunlight. The majestic sun helps the plant in many ways. Sunlight is required by all plants. Now, the sun's energy is used in the food-making process for plants. This food-making process is called photosynthesis. Photosynthesis takes place in all green leaves. Now, if you take a green plant and place them in a dark room, it soon turns yellowish, withers and dies. Children, being at home, why don't you try putting one of your mother's green plants into a room of darkness and see the next day what happens to the plant? Do they live or do they die? Well, in the absence of sunlight, plants use oxygen for the process of respiration. In the food-making process of photosynthesis, the substance glucose is formed, and this is the food for the plant. Let's have a look at the picture. The sun's energy, the light energy, is used for the process of photosynthesis. Have you been to the jungle? Have you come across mushrooms and fungi? Well, I'm sure you've eaten one of those in your mother's daily cooking. Well, mushrooms and fungi do not use sunlight because they do not have the green pigment called chlorophyll as they lack in leaves. But these fungi and mushroom make up for the food, which is glucose, by feeding on dead animal and plants. Now, children, have you walked through the green forest or been to jungle trekking? Well, you would notice that there are small plants looking like umbrellas or buttons on dead trees. These are the mushrooms and fungi. Now, sadly, this mushroom and fungi do not have green leaves, so they do not require the power of the sunlight to make their own food, but they feed on the dead plants and animal instead for glucose. Now, to conclude the basic needs of plant, let's have a look at this picture on the blackboard. This is a green leaf. In the process of photosynthesis, sunlight,
carbon dioxide,
and water is used. And in the green plant, we need the presence of chlorophyll for this process to take place. What is chlorophyll? Chlorophyll is the green pigment which colors the leaves of the plant. What happens in the process of photosynthesis when sunlight, carbon dioxide and water are used by the green leaf in the process of photosynthesis? They produce oxygen and glucose. This oxygen in the air is used by us humans for the process of respiration. What is glucose? I'm sure you've heard of this word a lot. Well, glucose is a form of sugar, and this sugar is used by the plant. Glucose is the food for the plant. Glucose is also food for humans. Remember, in the first lesson, we learned that food is composed of carbohydrate. Well, when you eat carbohydrate-containing products like rice, it breaks down to glucose. So, this glucose is exactly same as the glucose which is consumed by us humans. So, remember, photosynthesis is sunlight,
carbon dioxide,
water, with the products of oxygen and glucose, but they have to have the presence of the green pigment called chlorophylls. I'm sure, children, that the picture just now, which was on the blackboard, has helped you further to understand how does the process of photosynthesis take place and what are the basic needs of plants. Now, to understand further, shall we try an experiment? Let's have a look at an interesting experiment. The following are the steps to prove the basic need of plants. Now, the purpose of this experiment is to find out whether plant needs air, water and sunlight to survive. Let's look at the goal of the experiment. The goal would be to find out if air, water and sunlight is the basic need of plants. What about the variables? The constant variable is we use the same type of balsam plant. Balsam plant is a kind of flowering plant which has pink flowers. What is the manipulated variable? The presence of air, water and sunlight. What about the responding variable? It's the ability of the plant to stay alive. What do we need for this experiment? We need plastic bags, sticker labels, water cans, a box, 4 pots of balsam plants. Now, how do we do this experiment? The first method being, you have to label all the plants A, B and C and D. Next, you wrap the plant C with a plastic bag. You place pot D in a covered box. Do not water plant B. You can water plant A, C and D every day. Place plant A, B and C under the sunlight. Now remember, D was placed in a box. What do we do with plant A, B, C and D? We observe its conditions after 4 days. Now remember, what do we do with plant B? We did not water plant B. We covered plant C with a plastic, so plant C lacks in air. Plant D was put into a box, so plant D lacks in sunlight. Plant B lacks in water, plant C lacks in air, and plant D lacks in sunlight. So, plant A has got all water, air and sunlight. So, at the end of the experiment, we would find that plant A lives healthily, green, and plant B, C and D withers and dies. From the experiment, what can we conclude? Think. Yes, plants need water, air and sunlight to survive. Now, I'm sure this experiment has given you an insight of the basic need of plants. Now, to further our knowledge regarding the basic need of plants, shall we do some exercises? Let's have a look at the first question. Question 1. Red beans germinate in containers with dry or moist cotton. What do you think? Do plants need water to survive? Yes, you're right. Red beans germinate in containers with moist cottons. Let us now look at the second exercise. Question 2. What will be your observation if you cover a patch of grass with a wood plank for a week? Now, if you use a wood plank to cover the grass, what are you stopping the plant from getting? Think. The sunlight, of course. So, the answer would be the grass is not green enough because it did not get enough sunlight. Remember that sunlight is used for photosynthesis. So the answer would be the grass is not green enough because it did not have enough sunlight. Shall we move over to the third question? Question 3. Paint some oil on the surface of the green leaves. Predict your observation during the next few weeks. Now, painting the surface of the leaf with oil causes the leaf not to get enough oxygen or carbon dioxide. So here, the plant lacks air. Let's look at the answer. The leaves will wilt and turn yellowish or fall. Of course, without the presence of air, there is no process of photosynthesis. Let's move over to the last question. Question 4. What is the process of making food in plants known as A. Respiration, B. Oxygen, C. Photosynthesis, and D. Chlorophyll? Now remember, respiration is the process where we use oxygen to make energy. Oxygen are the gases in the air. Chlorophyll are the green pigments used for photosynthesis. So, obviously children, I'm sure you know the answer. Yes, C. Photosynthesis. I'm sure there was some difficult words to understand throughout the lesson. So, shall we have a look for the vocabulary of the day? Watered, the serum. Watered, you always water the plants. Waters are needed by the plants as it is one of the basic needs of plants. Next, sunlight. Sunlight is cahaya matahari. Well, our earth needs sunlight for the plants to grow fresh. Next, soil. Soil is tanah. In the soil, we have got different types of nutrients which can be absorbed by the water in the plants using their long roots. Let's gain some extra knowledge about basic needs of plants by looking for the trivia of the day. Why do leaves change color in autumn? It's the chlorophyll in the plant's leaves that makes them look green. But in autumn, the chlorophyll breaks down. Once the green coloring has gone, the leaves' other colors show through beautiful shades of red, yellow, and gold. Sadly, being in a country where we do not see the 4 seasons, we do not get to experience autumn, so we do not see these beautiful colors on the trees. Shall we look at the next trivia? Which plant traps a treat? When an insect lands on the Venus flytrap, it gets a nasty surprise. It only has to brush against one tiny hair of the flytrap to make the leaves snap tightly shut. There is no escape for the poor insect. The flytrap changes it into a tasty soup which it slowly soaks up. Well children, that's all for today. But before I end, I would like to do a quick recap on what we've learned today. Now for the recap, I'm going to introduce to you Lawrence the Leaf. My name is Lawrence the Leaf. I love the sunlight. I take in water. I breathe carbon dioxide. I can make my own food, which is called glucose, and I can store them in me. I breathe out or give out oxygen for all you humans to breathe. Well, that's all for today, and thank you for watching iTTV. See you soon in our next lesson.